Hi, my name is Jeanette Thurston. I'm the Science Program and Analysis Officer here at the National Institute of Food and Agriculture, NIFA. And I'm going to start off with a set of slides today talking about competitive programs. So to get going, I'm going to give you an overview of the agency. The National Institute of Food and Agriculture was established in the 2008 Farm Bill. And with this establishment, all of the predecessor agency, that was CSREES, all those authorities transferred to NIFA on October 1st of 2009. And we actually became NIFA and launched as NIFA on October 8, 2009. With NIFA, we have a presidential appointee. Our first one, as many of you know, was Dr. Sunny Ramaswamy. And we're now happy to have Dr. Scott Engel, who is our new director of NIFA. Now the structure of NIFA, so you can always take a look at our website and see the organizational structure. We have both an operations side of NIFA and we have a program side of NIFA. And this slide really is focused on that program side. The program side consists of 4 institutes, but also missing here, it consists of the Center for International Programs. Those 4 institutes consist of the Institute of Bioenergy, Climate, and Environment, the Institute of Food Production and Sustainability, the Institute of Food Safety and Nutrition, and the Institute of Youth, Family, and Community. And all of these are led by a deputy director, as you see here. So what does NIFA really do? Well, our mission is to solve societal challenges, to advance research, education, and extension to solve these challenges. And we help to facilitate the integration of programmatic functions by supporting, again, research, education, and extension. The impact that NIFA has, we have a great deal of impact, as many of you know, or you wouldn't be sitting in the seats that you are and have offered to become a panel manager for NIFA's programs. But we support research, education, and extension with a focus on tangible and meaningful outcomes. We promote relevant, value-added programs and services, and we help to drive outcomes that matter to the American people and actually all over the world. So you may have taken a look at, and you can find these on our website, that we have our impact annual reports, and our goal really is to support high impact science. And when we talk about science, we're really referring to not only research, but also education and extension. So our budget has really changed over the years. I've been at NIFA for 10 years now, and it's really increased. And as you can see here, we have a pie chart that we've put together that shows the breakdown between research and education activities, meaning the biggest piece of the pie, integrated activities, extension activities, and our mandatory and endowment funding. And I'll go over these in just a few moments. Our total budget for fiscal year 2019 is about a little over $1.7 billion. So how do we achieve our mission? We do this through several different funding mechanisms. Of course, we have capacity funding, or a lot of folks like to call this formula funds. Some of those programs include Evan Allen, Hatch, Animal Health and Disease, McIntyre Stennis, and Smith Lever. Of course, today our focus is on competitive grant programs or competitive grant funding. And here at NIFA, we have over 30 competitive grant programs, many with very broad eligibility, meaning that my mom and dad at home can actually apply for some of our programs. Not all of them, some of them have more fine-tuned eligibility or more specific eligibility, and you can find those kinds of details in our requests for applications. Now, our competitive grants flagship program is the Agriculture and Food Research Initiative, or AFRI. We have a lot of other competitive programs as well. Some of these competitive programs fall under mandatory programs. This includes the Specialty Crop Research Initiative, the Organic Agriculture Research and Extension Initiative, Beginning Farmers and Ranchers, and others. We also have the Biotechnology Risk Assessment Research Grants Program, SBIR, or Small Business Research Program, and Crop Protection and Pest Management, just to name a few. We have, like I said, over 30 competitive grant programs here at NIFA. So how do we identify those proposals that have the highest scientific merit? As much as we'd like to fund every proposal that comes into our program, we certainly can't. And we wouldn't want to if they don't rise to the top and having that really high merit. So NIFA really relies on folks like you. We rely on a rigorous peer review process by research, extension, and our education experts to select proposals of the highest merit. program-specific evaluation criteria. This is found in the RFA. These include a wide variety of things depending on the program, and, and can include scientific merit, qualifications of the project team, the capacity and availability of facilities, project planning and management, and of course, relevance to agriculture and the program's priorities. So when thinking about the Agriculture and Food Research Initiative, or AFRI, we have several different RFAs, or kind of umbrella programs. Those programs include education and workforce development. And this used to be called the ELI program, or the Education Literacy Initiative. That's one RFA that is released on, in the AFRI program. Another is the Foundational and Applied Sciences program. This really focuses on basic and applied research. It also has extension education opportunities as well. There are CAP and standard grants, there's an exploratory program, and there's, of course, the CARE program, as well as many, many others. This is probably the largest, not probably, it is the largest RFA within the AFRI program. And finally, the newer Sustainable Agricultural Systems program. This program came out a few years ago. This is really focused on the agricultural system from farm all the way to the consumer. So it's pretty exciting to see this chart. We have had increases with AFRI pretty much since I've began at NIFA. So over the last 10 years, we saw a substantial increase, especially since 2013. And here we are in 2019 at $425 million. So what types of grants? Let's talk about some of the AFRI grants that we offer in the various priority areas of AFRI. These can include the standard grants. These can be research, education, extension. They can be what we call single function, so they can be research only, education only, or extension, or actually not education only, extension only, and integrated. So when we talk about integrated programs, it's going to specify in the RFA whether or not it needs to have all three agricultural science components, research, education, extension, or whether or not it's just what we consider standard integrated, meaning it needs to have at least two out of the three science functions. So, for example, research and education, or research and extension. We also have grant types of conference grants, coordinated agricultural projects. We also have phase grants, and there are eligibility restrictions on some of these. And these can include new investigator, pre- and postdoctoral fellowships in our educational workforce development program, and also strengthening grants. In fiscal year 2018, the Education and Workforce Development Program, again, this used to be called ELI, the focus is on the professional development of secondary school teachers and education professionals, as well as training of undergraduate students and pre-doctoral and postdoctoral fellows, which is very similar to ELI with a couple new additions. In 2018, the AFRI Foundational Applied Science Program is still broken down by those 6 Farm Bill areas. Those Farm Bill areas include plant health, production and plant products, animal health, production and animal products, food safety, nutrition and health, bioenergy, natural resources and the environment, agricultural systems and technology, agricultural economics, and rural communities. And I want to highlight that we also have some cross-cutting initiatives, and these include the Critical Agricultural Research and Extension Program, as well as exploratory research. So the newest, so as some of you may remember, the AFRI program had challenge areas, and those challenge areas are now combined and under the umbrella of sustainable agricultural systems. So instead of just looking at, for example, previous challenge area of food safety, we're now looking at the entire system and sustainable agricultural systems. So these proposals may include food safety aspects, they may include production aspects, they may include other aspects that you may have seen in previous challenge areas. There's a new RFA in 2018. These support very large integrated projects. So again, integrated projects are those that consider at least 2 and sometimes 3 of the science functions, research, education, extension. And so that these projects need to address major outcomes of agricultural systems. This program is supporting up to $10 million per project as a coordinated agricultural project, or CAP project. So moving on, spent a lot of time on AFRI, but I do want to take a little bit of time on some of our other competitive programs, one of which is the Specialty Crop Research Initiative. The purpose of this program really is to address the critical needs of the specialty crop industry. This program awards grants that support research and extension, and they address key challenges of national, regional, and multi-state importance in sustaining all components of the food and agriculture, including conventional and organic production systems. Down at the bottom here, you'll see a bullet, actually the definition of specialty crops. So just if you were serving as a panel manager, as a panelist on Specialty Crops Research Initiative competitive panel, know that specialty crops is defined as fruits and vegetables, tree nuts, dried fruits, horticulture, and nursery crops, which also includes floriculture. Another program that NIFA has, another important competitive program, is the Organic Research and Extension Initiative, or REI. And this program really seeks to solve critical organic agricultural issues. It identifies priorities or problems that need to be solved through the integration of research, education, and extension activities. The purpose of this program is to fund projects that will enhance the ability of producers and processors who have already adopted organic standards to grow and market high quality organic agricultural projects. Similarly, Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program, another competitive program here at NIFA. Again, I'm not going to be able to cover all of these. We have over 30 competitive programs, and these can easily be found on our website. But Beginning Farmer and Rancher Development Program helps to develop and offer education. It offers training and outreach, as well as mentoring programs to enhance the sustainability of the next generation of farmers. Community food projects. This program helps to meet the food needs of low-income people by increasing self-reliance and promoting a comprehensive response to food, farm, and nutrition. And the Biotechnology Risk Assessment Grants Program, or BRAG, as we like to call it around here at NIFA. This program really helps to identify and develop management practices to minimize potential risks associated with genetically engineered animals, plants, and microorganisms. And I think this is the last competitive program that I'll be touching upon today. And this is a Small Business Innovation Research Program, or SBIR. This, of course, is a program, as you all know, that's across federal government. At NIFA, we support research for the development of profit-making technology, product, or service in relation to agriculture. There's two phases of the program. There's phase 1, which is proof of concept, and phase 2, which is development and commercialization. Actually, there's one more program I'm going to go over, and it's crop protection and pest management. This program, its purpose really is to address high priority issues that's related to pests and their management using IPM approaches at the state, regional, and national levels. This program supports projects that will ensure food security. And this program ensures that we respond effectively to other major societal pest management challenges with a comprehensive IPM approach that are economically viable, ecologically prudent, and safe for human health. So for all of these competitive programs that I briefly went over today, you can certainly go to our website and read more detail, for example, on the SBIR program, what goes into that phase 1 and phase 2 parts of the program, as well as the other competitive programs that we have here at NIFA that we didn't have time to go over today. So in our programs, I think another important thing to point out is we do have interagency collaborations, and they are encouraged, and we have several of those. The really nice thing about these collaborations is it allows us, as well as our colleagues at other federal agencies, to leverage our very tight budgets. It also minimizes duplication or overlap, and it enhances coordination of the science among the agencies. Our national program leaders, or NPLs, these folks are science staff actively participate in interagency working groups under the President's National Science and Technology Council. In a lot of ways and a lot of times, our NPLs are able to make connections to our colleagues in these other federal agencies and actually establish some of these collaborations. So some of these interagency collaborations include things like innovations at the nexus of food, energy, and water. That's an NSF program that NIFA is a part of, as well as the Integrated Biorefinery Optimization Program that's in collaboration with DOE. The National Robotics Initiative, which is a wide collaboration, not only includes NIFA, but NSF, NASA, DOD, and DOE. Plant biotic interactions is another one, and food-specific molecular profiles for and biomarkers of food and nutrient intake and dietary exposure and NIH, and there are many others. So I think a really common question, at least that I know that I get and my colleagues here at NIFA get, is how in the heck do you guys determine what are the priorities for these programs? What is actually solicited and funded in your programs, the specific types of science? That's education, research, and extension. Well, stakeholder input is very vital to that. Stakeholder input from folks like you, from folks across the country, helps to identify critical issues and priorities for research, education, and extension in the various programs that we have. So here at NIFA, as some of you may know, we've started some formal stakeholder listening sessions. It's called NIFA Listens. That started 2 years ago. We plan on keeping that going. We also get stakeholder input through our RFA process as well. There's an email address where folks can submit stakeholder input, as well as when our science staff, our national program leaders, even our program specialists are heading out to national meetings, scientific societies, National Academy of Sciences, and other types of activities. They're collecting stakeholder input as well. We get stakeholder input from a wide variety of people across this country, as shown here on this slide. And we value it and we use it in identifying those priorities that you see in our RFAs. So I think that concludes this presentation. And if you have any questions, please talk to your NIFA program team. They'd be happy to answer any additional questions. Also, feel free to take a look at our website. It's pretty easy to maneuver and search for programs that you have questions about. Thanks so much for your time. Okay.